grab your fam and get ready to take the SKYWAY, because it's time for family art making. What's up, Ringling fam? It's Kallie, and it's the first fam for the month of July. Yeah! And this month, we'll be learning about art from the start. And what that means is we'll be learning about the elements of art and how to use them. But what are the elements of art, you ask? Well, the elements of art are the building blocks that artists use to create a work of art. Usually, we break them down into 7 different elements: color, value, shape, form, line, space, and texture. Each week we'll cover 1 or 2 of each of the elements, and to help me explain it to you, we'll be using the SKYWAY 2021 exhibition currently on view at the Ringling. This exhibition highlights works from local artists in the Tampa Bay area. We're showing 8 different artists and collectives, but you can see even more works for SKYWAY 2021 at the Museum of Fine Arts, St. Petersburg, the Tampa Museum of Art, and the University of South Florida Contemporary Art Museum. But that's enough background. Let's jump right into what we'll be learning about this week. Today, we're going to be learning about color and value. Color is pretty easy. You probably know what colors are, and you might know that you can mix certain colors together to make other colors. For example, red and yellow make orange, blue and red make purple, and blue and yellow make green. Red, blue, and yellow are called the primary colors, and once you mix them, the colors that they turn into are secondary colors. Now, color theory does get a little bit more complicated than that, but for now, we're just going to stick with those basic facts and move on into how using color can help us show value. Value is how light or dark a color is. Using values can help turn 2D shapes into 3D forms, and we'll learn a little bit more about 2D shapes and 3D forms next week, but let's focus on what value is and what it looks like. Here's a quick example to help you understand. This circle is the color blue, which is a primary color. This circle is all the same color of blue, and it looks pretty flat. It just looks like a circle. Here, I've used values to make the circle look 3D instead of flat. Where light would hit the circle if it were a real 3D object, I've used lighter shades of blue. Where the shadows would be, I've used darker shades of blue. Value helps things look 3D because light and shadows are what make things look realistic. If you were to grab a ball and hold it up to the light, you would see something similar to what I've drawn here. You would notice where the light and the shadows are. One of our SKYWAY artists, Eric Ondina, uses color and value in a really unique and special way, and to do so, he makes his own paint. We'll talk a little bit more about his paint later. Ondina gets the ideas for his paintings from real photographs and videos uploaded onto social media. By using these everyday photos and videos, real everyday photos and videos, he wants to show the differences between the American myth, or what we think America is like, versus what America is actually like every day. Like I mentioned before, to create his beautiful paintings, he makes his own paint. He mixes a viscous balsam, a fossilized hard resin, egg tempera, and water. These ingredients are difficult to mix together, and they take a lot of patience to make. But the results are truly worth it. Some say that his artwork reminds them of stained glass thanks to the colors that he uses. Let's take a look at his paintings to see what colors he uses, and we can do a little bit of an inspection to see, does he use those colors to create value? Let's look at this one first. It's called Off the Deep End. It shows 3 people all about to jump into the deep end of a pool. What colors do we see? I'll give you a second. Here's what I noticed. There's different shades of blue in the pool, light and dark browns used for the skin of our swimmers, reds and oranges mixed into the ground. Now, where do we see these colors being used to create value? And remember, Value is how light or dark a color is. Do you see any lighter colors being mixed with darker versions of the same color? Does it help it look more 3D? I'll give you another second to check it out. A great example that I see is on the ladder to the pool. It's using darker grays and bright whites to make the poles look real and three-dimensional. Do you see how that bright white fades into darker grays, depending on where the light hits it? You can also see this on the people about to jump into the pool. Look at this person. You can see the lighter colors blending in with darker ones all over their skin to create shadows. In this painting of a photo, you can see some people at what looks like a protest in the background. Look at the blue shirt of the man in the foreground. Those lines of dark blue help the shirt look like it has folds and wrinkles. And when you look even closer, you'll notice there are patches of lighter blue too. Same with the green jacket here. There's a lot of value to see in this work. Where else do you see value used? Pause the video and check it out. For our project today, we will also be making our own paints using markers. And we'll be using those new colors that we create to hopefully get some value in our artwork as well. For this project, you need some markers. Any colors will do, whatever colors you might want to use in your painting. You'll need paper, a piece of tin foil, a little bit of water, a paintbrush, and if you want to make one like Eric Ondina, you'll need a photograph to use as inspiration for your painting. Today, for my project, I'm going to be using this picture of a sunflower that I took. And on the surface, a picture of a sunflower might seem really simple, but to me, I like to imagine that it represents the brighter days ahead. And did you know that sunflowers always turn towards where the light is coming from, where the sun is shining? So I like to think that that could be me, always looking towards the bright side as we hopefully get back together again with our friends and family soon. To make your own paints, you want to grab one of your markers and scribble it onto the tinfoil. I know this seems silly, but what you're doing is creating sort of a watercolor paint. So you'll want to take your paintbrush, dip it in a little bit of water, and then put some of that marker on the tinfoil onto your brush. And depending on how much water you use versus how much color you get onto your paintbrush, you can create different values on your piece of paper. I played with some different lights and darks on an extra piece of paper that I had onto the side before I started painting. Also, to make it a little bit easier, you can definitely sketch out your photo beforehand with a pencil and then paint over it. Just be aware that these paints come off really light, so you might see some of those pencil markings coming through if you draw really dark like I did. So from there, it's really simple. You just use the colors of your markers to paint like you would with actual watercolor paints. When you take a look at your photograph, notice where the colors start to get darker and lighter, where the light is shining and where the shadows are hiding. It's really up to you and what painting you want to do, so I'm just going to zoom through the rest of my painting. And here is my finished dried sunflower painting. I really like the way it turned out. Like I said in the video, I tried to find the most obvious light and dark colors on the flower. For example, the dark green of the leaf that I talked about fading into the light green, and using the oranges to add to the yellow on the flower itself. I also went a little more abstract with the background because the flower was just taking such a long time and I didn't feel like I could do the background justice, so I did a little more abstract, but I still like the way it turned out. I think it's a pretty good painting. Not bad for making your own paints, I'd say. But more important than my old painting, I would love to see yours. So if you would like to send us a photo of your artwork, you can send it to the Ringling Facebook page, the Family Programs Facebook page, or send us an email at education@ringling.org. And if you do email it to us, let us know that it is okay to share it with the rest of the Ringling fam. And even more than that, have you ever wanted to see your art at the Ringling Museum next to the greats? Well, now you can. We're doing another family community art gallery, and your submissions can be turned in today and until September 1st. You can either drop it off at the museum itself when you walk into the visitors pavilion, the main building where you buy your tickets. Walk in through those double doors and turn immediately to your left. You'll see a blue wagon that says Community Drop-Off. And if you'd like to mail it to us, you can find our address here or go online to our website at ringling.org. I hope you enjoyed making your own paints and painting with them and learning a little bit about color and value. Next week, we'll be looking at some sloppy sculptures to learn about shape versus form. So I will see you next time in the same place at the same time. And until then, bye everybody!